Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here, it's Merkin Gun Reviews, and yeah, so this is late. It's intentionally late because I had no intention of actually making a White Lotus episode 3 review for Mysterious Monkeys. Because I just, you guys could tell that I wasn't into it, I wasn't feeling it. I still am not into it, and I'm not feeling it. Uh, But I said I might have one more Emmy, and then we're going to close this out. I am still watching this for some reason. Maybe it's because there's nothing on Sunday nights. I did think this episode was funny. I did find a little bit more enjoyment in the situations that were happening in this episode than I have previously. But I still just don't care about the end stories for any of this. And I want to reiterate, I understand what this show is doing. I understand because I've been in customer service since I was 16 years old. And I'm really starting to like I'm seeing the rich, the people with money and versus the people with poor, and the people that work there, and how they see things, and how it is to be in customer service when you're dealing with people like the people in this episode. And maybe it's because I've dealt with it for so many years that I'm just kind of numb to it. I see people who act like assholes every single fucking day of my life. So when I see these people behave this way, I've just been able to just go, "Ugh, yeah, it's just another Sunday for me. If you don't like, if you don't like the job, quit." And you go, well, some people just can't quit. You can always quit your job. It might not always be a great idea. Why do you think I still do what I do? I'm too old to be looking around for other jobs. I'm a decent, well-paid, well, I've got a good 40-hour-a-week job that gives me some benefits that are nice. I'm not making as much money as I'm worth. And sometimes putting up with people is very, very difficult. So when you look at it from this perspective, like let's call it Armand, right? Armand's situation, right? Where he's at his wit's end. He's now drinking. He's doing drugs. We're on episode 3, and he's just said fuck it. He's got the drugs that the girls have. I think that they suspect that he has the bag and he just doesn't want to tell them, but like, what are they going to do? I mean, I do suspect that at some point somebody's going to try to sneak in and look for the drugs themselves, maybe. But, and then what do you do there? Because really this is just, if somebody has them, right? I would think that they would be more like, if somebody turns us into the cops and they see our fucking name on like some of these pill bottles and they see all the other drugs in here, we'd be in trouble. So they should really be concerned about somebody calling the cops if they found the drugs. Otherwise, you should just chalk it up to, guess what? This is just too bad for us. We lost our drugs, and if we don't get arrested, that's a win. But Armand, he's getting off now on setting things up to upset the guests, especially Pete from The Office. I'm going to always call him Pete from The Office, by the way. Where he's now, Jennifer Coolidge wanted to charter a boat to take her mom's ashes out. And she wanted her masseuse friend to come with her to do it. And you can definitely see where this plot is going. She was like telling her that I'll give you the money to set up your shop. I don't think Jennifer Coolidge has any money. I think this trip probably cost her a great deal of money. Maybe it's the inheritance. Maybe it cost all of the inheritance that her mom left her. Maybe this trip was something that her mom had money set aside for, but I don't think Jennifer Coolidge has any money. She doesn't seem to actually know how to be around people. She seems like somebody who has had a very difficult life, a very strained life, a very put upon life, and now she's finally getting some attention and feeling good, and she's just saying shit. And I think that this character is setting herself up for a disappointment. Hopefully she doesn't quit her job, because she's doing all these things now. Like, she's agreeing to go with her on the boat and all this other shit because of the thought of, well, this person's offering to set me up with a business, so I should just play along. Who cares if I go on this boat trip? Oh, I don't have to go to work. I can get off work early to do this, because in the end I won't have to worry about this job when I can just open up my own place. But I don't think that's happening at all. And so she's almost definitely set up for failure. And Armand, he's probably going to lose his job. Who knows? Now, we got, with Steve Zahn finding out that his dad, first he finds out that he might have cancer, right? And so that's causing the trip to have a strain on him. He can't enjoy himself. Then he finds out he doesn't have cancer. But that still doesn't really do anything for him. He gets that scare, and so, but now he's feeling like he's got to make up for it. He's got to try to be, really into things. And then he finds out that his dad didn't die of cancer. He died of AIDS because he was secretly gay. And so then this is what's on his mind. And this is what he focuses on. And this is what he spends his time thinking about instead of being on vacation with his family. This is what he's doing with his time. He's just walking and talking to strangers about their sex lives and getting drunk. And while it's really funny and really awkward, it's just showing that this character, no matter what, will need something to worry about. He's at that time in his life. He's upper middle ages. He's probably about 50. All right. I shouldn't say upper middle age. He's about middle age, right? So like 50 years old. He's about pushing that. Steve Zahn's about that age, I would say. Probably maybe 52, 53. And so now he's, doing this. And so he has an awkward interaction with Alexandria Daddario. And all this stuff is really funny. Him talking to his son about, hey, if you were gay, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, he's not. So that's the whole thing there. You got the son who, as I thought, something, I said maybe he'd get washed away and he'd die. But no, all his, all his screens have washed away and are, well, he finds them, but they're all broken, and he spends the whole time freaking out about that. There was a fun moment where the moms just basically, they're telling them that this all happened because they wouldn't share the room. But again, they don't do anything about the daughter. She's got terrible behavior. She's terribly, terribly rude. And she's obsessed with the fact that her friend's lying about seeing some guy behind her back. Is that me? Are they trying to say that her character is secretly in love with her? Or is it because they brought her on a trip and she's out hooking up with some guy instead of hanging out with her? Except they don't really do anything. They're just sitting around the pool reading Nietzsche and Freud. And I do love that Pete from The Office actually says, are you even really reading those books? Or are you just reading them so you can spit out some nonsense later? Which is what I said. Now, Pete from The Office, he's got his own deal too, because again, he's still obsessed over Armand and whether they didn't get the right hotel room. And then he flirts with those girls, and he's told he's not romantic by his wife, and so he tries to set up this dinner, which is what Armand uses to put him on the same boat as Jennifer Coolidge, which does lead to a pretty funny interaction where she thinks that they're there for her dinner, and I love that he totally set him up and her up for this, but she didn't do anything. His wife is an innocent victim in all this. In fact, her character is the only one that's kind of like still kind of nice and everything. Even though you might say that, she has some kind of her own agendas when it comes to things a little bit with her job, but she has every right to a job. But like Jennifer Coolidge, when she starts blubbering and trying to throw the ashes out and everything, and she can't do it and all that, it's all for naught, and their dinner is ruined. It was pretty entertaining, but I mean, it's meaningless. It's not really leading towards anything that I really care about. It's just leading towards the inevitability of all of these stories and where they're headed, you know? So eventually Jennifer Coolidge is going to be, she's going to dump the ashes, and maybe it'll be funny when she does. And then the poor lady's going to find out that she has no money and she did all this for nothing. Hopefully she doesn't quit her job. Pete from The Office and Alexandra Daddario, what's her name, Rachel, they're going to probably break up. Because next week, Molly Shannon shows up as Pete's mother, which, Molly Shannon's always funny. And we see that she's like, oh, tell her about how she wanted a job. And she's like, why? So, I mean, she also finds out that their relationship is basically based on sex, which, look, that's a terrible thing to say. That's a terrible thing to say. I mean, he was pretty honest. At least you could... no. I mean, look, it's Alexandra Daddario. But still, like, it shows how shallow this guy is, really. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else, like Connie Britton always moving the furniture around for her, so she's working on their vacation. It's just all a bunch of bits of, like I said, slice of life, nothing. I didn't hate this episode, and I do think I like this episode more than any of the others. But I still really don't care where it's going. I still don't care how, maybe, again, I feel like this is a bad show to watch week to week. This is a show that I should have binged, like wait and binge, because then maybe once everything plays out in a certain way, I hate to get to that last episode and go, oh my God, it all comes together. Everything makes sense. And, oh, it's fantastic. And then it changes the context of everything I just saw. I don't want to go through that. I honestly just, I don't know why I don't want, but if I'm wrong and I end up saying, wow, they really figured out a way to pull it out in the end, I'll admit it. But I just don't see that happening. I still don't see myself caring. And I still don't see whoever ends up in that casket, I mean, if anything, right, Jennifer Coolidge is out there. I said Jennifer Coolidge would probably be the one who dies. Maybe she gets too depressed and throws herself overboard with the ashes of her mother and gets eaten by a great white shark. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. That's the review. And if you liked it, well, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and the bell for all notifications. Otherwise, I'm not even going to pull out the neuralizer for this. It's just not worth making an extra joke about. So if you like this review, yeah, do all the things. Maybe we'll see you next week. I don't know. I keep saying I'm not doing anymore, and I do one. But have a great night, everybody. Maybe we'll see you later. All right, I did forget that the daughter tracks her friend to the little cabana where she bangs the guy who works at the hotel, and again gets that look on her face of betrayal that she doesn't deal with. So I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, but yeah, that's the one thing I forgot to talk about. Again, who cares that she's banging some Hawaiian, hotel worker? Good on her for getting some. At least she's doing something other than sitting around the pool. But, again, we're supposed to try to read into why she's upset. So it's either my friend's bailing on me from sitting around the pool reading books, or my friend is having sex with a guy and I want her to have sex with me. I don't know. But that's it. That was the last thing. So, see ya. I just didn't want to in the comment section that I forgot about that part. So, let me know what you all think. Is she secretly in love with her, or is she just pissy because her friend just keeps sneaking off and lying to her? See ya.